cars, dolphin dives, and Mr. Love Down Under. It's week 3 on season 21 of The Bachelorette. You are watching Reader Seeks Romance Channel's Romance Recap, and we're dissecting and discussing Jenn Tran's rose petal journey to finding ferocious love. It's shot o'clock.
Shot o'clock! Let's get it!
So let's get this party started. I am Liz Donatelli.
And I'm Tiffany Current.
Be sure to subscribe to Reader Seeks Romance Channel so that you don't miss weekly episodes of Romance Recap only on YouTube. Jenn is going into week 3 with 15 suitors. And my question for you, which is how I began last week, is a question about Devin. Has your opinion of Devin changed?
No, it hasn't. And quite frankly,
What?
I am done with Devin. I'm tired of Devin. I think at some point throughout the night, he says some more cheesy lines. I think Devin should have left along with the Love Virgin. I felt sorry for him a little bit later on as we go into his story. But other than that, it's like, let's see the other suitors. I'm done with him. I don't need to see him anymore.
To be fair, the only reason he keeps popping up where he has to defend himself is because he keeps getting attacked by Sam M.
You know what? I think it sounds like everyone in the house is tired of him. And I'm one of those people, and I'm not even living with him. I'm tired of watching him. I'm tired of hearing him talk about himself and like his reasons for being him.
Yeah, but this is all part of the getting to know you process. Every one of them are sharing their stories. And I have to say, there's a ton of them, or at least it seems like there's a lot of them who have been cheated on and or were formally engaged.
Yes, I think that must be one of the requirements of being on The Bachelor. Because every single guy, I'm like, how many guys are sharing the stories of like, I was really in love and I was cheated on and I was devastated, but now I'm doing better and I'm looking for a wife. Every single story today was about somebody who was cheated on, maybe because Jenn was cheated on. So maybe they're trying to find a good fit with her with a similar background. I'll give the producers the benefit of the doubt. But maybe that's it. I don't know. It's weird.
I'm thinking they were trying to find compatibility for Jenn and said, oh, these people were, but she was never engaged, was she? Previously?
I don't think she was engaged, but she was in an intense relationship, and I think she was cheated on. So it sounds. I like that we started off the episode slightly living up to the title of the episode coming in. We see the guys working out, shirts off, doing push-ups, like a bunch of them all on, I don't know, this rooftop. I'm like, okay, I guess they're building up to what's to come.
That was such a staged and gratuitous shot. First of all, when you're working out, like they were working out within inches of each other. It looked like it was absurd.
I was like, his sweat is getting on your sweat. Ew. I don't want the sweat near me. It was a lot of sweat, but I understood they're trying to like, okay, audience, here's what's to come. Immediately we go from there to Spencer. And I was like, they're giving him a lot of play all of a sudden. And he was very sensitive. He's like, I'm really feeling what happened last night with Devin. And I'm like, first of all, I had to be like, who is Spencer? I was like, which guy was Spencer? Because I don't remember him. And then I was like, okay, I think he's the puppy guy. But he seems like a really nice, sweet guy.
Yeah, he's the one who does the pet portraits. And I didn't recognize him because he was wearing his glasses. He looked really cute. He's got a good glasses look to him. And let's face it, the only reason they opened with him where we're hearing his thoughts is because he was picked for the date, for the one-on-one date.
I think he was just as surprised as we were because I'm like, Spencer's getting the date card? I was like, what?
Yeah, I was surprised too.
It was, I feel like they must have edited out maybe her connection with him because there was so much Devin drama that they forgot about Spencer. But I like that we see Spencer, we get introduced to him, and we see them meet up, I guess somewhere, I forgot if it's like a park or something, and she immediately starts kissing him. And once again, I'm like, did I miss this? Like, when are they at the point in the relationship where they're kissing? I must have missed it.
Yeah, I think that there was stuff going on behind the scenes, that they had time together that was cut out, because it seemed like it came out of nowhere that they have this first of all, that she would pick him, give the date card to him. I was like,
Yes.
okay. And then when they meet, it's like this instantaneous, oh, like comfortability. I was like,
Yes.
oh, okay. He mentions he has this golden retriever energy, which has been mentioned a few other times. So she really digs him apparently because they do a helicopter date.
We see them on the helicopter together and they seem to really like each other. I just wasn't expecting it because he doesn't seem like her type because he's so nice. So
Yeah.
I just wasn't expecting it. At some point I noticed he was grabbing her thigh so tightly on that ride. Did you see that? It was a very like serious hand touch, and then they were just making out consistently on that helicopter ride.
They were making out, and I wonder if it was partly because of fear being in the helicopter. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you need something to
Oh.
hold on to. So I feel like it might have been they were kissing for their lives, like they were just kind of scared. And fear makes you do horny things,
Oh, that's
apparently.
interesting. I
Yeah.
actually like that philosophy. Maybe that would explain it, but they feel like they really got along. And from there, we see them, I think, basically go out to, is it to dinner somewhere? I think
They
they
go
get
out
all dressed
to
up.
dinner. I don't know where it was. I couldn't figure it out. It looked like a courthouse.
Yes. Okay, to be honest, it seemed like the exact same building that she went to on the other date that was the
Right.
library, but just a different room. That's what it seemed like to me.
Okay, it's so funny you said that because I was thinking at one point, aren't they in the library? But I didn't see any shelved books. So you know what? It could be just that they just keep, maybe the whole thing
Oh,
is filmed there. Maybe
they're
they just,
tilting the camera. They're
yeah.
just shifting it a little 10 feet to the side. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
I mean, it's a beautiful building. They have this lovely date where Jenn talks about her past relationships, and then
Yes.
Spencer's like, I have to tell you something. And of course, it's his big heartbreak story. He had been engaged, they bought a
Yes.
house together, and 2 months before the
Yes.
wedding, apparently she went on a trip, and then he found out she had cheated on him.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but Jen asks some really great questions.
Mm.
And I'd like to think that she came up with them herself because they're so thoughtful. She asked if he was ready to be engaged again.
Yeah.
And is he distrustful? Because of that experience, did it leave him feeling distrustful of romantic situations? So she's definitely trying to find out, like, hey, are you really ready for this?
Ready.
He says he is. So, I mean, but who's going to say, oh, yeah, I don't trust anybody. I don't know what I'm doing here. Of course, he's going to say, I'm
But
ready.
I believed him because I heard that too. And I'm like thinking, he
Mhm.
seems really, because he was getting very teary-eyed as he was like
Yeah.
retelling the story. And I was like, I would be wondering the same thing, like, are you ready for this? But he said it's been 4 years later. So it's been a chunk of time.
Oh, I
So I
missed
would
that. Okay.
think that potentially he's moved past it. But after that's done, I think they go out on the balcony, and of course, the fireworks display, which means the one thing, it's time for the kiss.
I'm so happy. Spencer and I have had similar experiences in the fact that we've been with the wrong people. And maybe because of that, he and I were able to be so comfortable with each other. That's the type of feeling that I want in my forever person.
I've seen her with other nice guys, and I've been like, she's not going to end up with him because he's too
Yeah.
nice.
I
For,
feel, yeah, the same thing.
but for him, I was like, maybe. I was just like, maybe with him. He's still, I think, a nice guy, so I'm not sure. But for some reason,
Yeah.
with him, I thought maybe there's more of a possibility with him. I don't know.
Right.
Just my
Right.
thought. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, at some point during this date, we do
Yeah.
see, I think it was Sam and Thomas.
Thomas and Sam M are really thick as thieves, and they keep saying Devin is an instigator, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah. And then you cut to Sam and the love virgin and Devin.
Yes.
And Sam and the love virgin asks, how do you think Spencer is going to do? Do you think he's going to get a rose? And Devin says, I hope he does well, and that Jenn makes the best decision for herself. Now, I thought that was a diplomatic answer.
It was sweet.
Do you think Spencer's gonna get a rose? I hope he does well, and then I hope Jenn makes the best decision for herself. Yeah, I always boil it down to the fact that, like, if Jenn is happy with who we are as people and keep us here for this reason, like, who is anybody else to judge?
And I thought that was well done. I mean, he's not going out of his way to be a D-bag. He's not going out of his way to cause trouble. But I feel like he's a magnet for it because he is, I think, in one of Jenn's top 3. That's what I think. And he's a target.
I just disagree with you so much. I do think he is an instigator. I do think he does look for trouble, but only with certain people. And maybe there's something to the people he picks. Maybe he picks people that maybe he feels threatened by, or maybe picked on him when he was little, because we learned later that he was heavier, and was picked on. But
Yeah.
he does push with certain people. But with his friends, he seems nice. But with certain people, he does push. But that's just my opinion.
All right, listen, these are the words of an instigator, okay? Sam M says about Devin, Devin is smooth with his words, and I'm smooth with these. And he lifts up his fist.
Devin isn't worth a second of my breath or my energy. He's smooth with his words, and like, I'm smooth with these.
Those are the words of a bully and an
Whoa.
instigator.
No. We were watching two different shows. I took that completely differently. I took it more so like he's saying he leads with his body as opposed to like his fist and trying to beat people up.
I feel like he is overall aggressive. Sam M is overly aggressive.
Speaking of aggressive, we find out there is a new group date card that is like a really, I don't know, intense testosterone-filled thing. We don't know that yet, but they know it's a group date card. Of course,
Yeah.
Devin is the last one picked, so everyone's like, uh-oh. They get to this lovely theater, and Jenn's like, let's watch a show. Let's watch something really nice. I love the theater. And then the Thunder from Down Under come out, ripping off their shirts, doing their body rolls. And right away, we know what's about to happen next.
The suitors that are along for this group date are Dylan, Marcus, Tomas, aka Thomas A, John, Sam N, the love virgin, Grant, Jonathan, who I think resembles James Franco. Think about it.
Oh, I
James
see what
Franco.
you mean.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Okay. Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Thomas N, Sam M, and Devin. So in this group date, Jenn's suitors strip away their insecurities and their clothes to compete for the title of Mr. Love Down Under. So cringe and cheesy, this whole like kind of setup.
It's cringe.
They call it the Bachelorette Love Down Under show. So they make it into this show.
They make it into this show.
An audience.
Yes. It's an audience. What I like, even before we get to the audience, is that we have these, I guess, actual guys from the Thunder Down Under come out. Teaching them the different moves. There's the body roll, the dolphin dive, and the grip and rip. Did you have a favorite? Did you have a favorite of the three?
I have to say it's the grip and rip.
I know you would. I like the grip and rip too, because it's like it's in your face. I like it.
It's in your face. It's like passion unleashed.
Yes.
I would love to watch a reality show about the behind the scenes of male review dancers.
I bet you would.
I didn't even know there were names to all these moves. Did you know that?
I did not know it, but I think one person who did know it was Dylan, because he was watching and he's like, I've actually been to a male strip show. And I was like, Dylan, do you want to tell us your story?
He also said that he had taken notes. Didn't he say he took notes, or he was learning, or like
it seemed like he had a slight background in it. Cause like when he said that, I was like, okay, we have an extra story. This is how he's paying for medical school. We're starting to find out a little bit more about Dylan. When he said that, I was like, wait a second. It was interesting to hear that.
At this point, Jenn is getting all hot and bothered, and they interview her. She says, this was such a line written for her. She goes, it's important to know what's down under their hearts.
I know, that was so like,
no, Jenn, no.
You know that's BS, Jenn, because I can already tell by your type of guy that's not true.
You know, it's important to know what's down under their hearts, okay?
But I will say, the one guy who seems very nervous, of course, is the love virgin. Guys, can we just get him off the show? I'm so tired of him. Take your wet blanket, leave the show. I'm sorry, guys. He's Linus. He's Linus for me.
He's the resident Linus.
He's the resident Linus for me. You got to get him off the show.
I wrote down that he's the king of cringe, because everything he says and does makes me curl inside of myself. Sam and is immediately repulsed by this whole thing, because
Yes.
his thing is, hey, listen, I am here for love. I am here for love. This has nothing to do with love. And here's the thing. Here's the disconnect for him. He's not a physical virgin, which means he's had sex. So he
Yeah.
apparently he holds love and sex as very, very separate things, and the two shall not meet. If you want
Allegedly.
love, there's no sex, but he's got to reconcile the fact that they do cross paths, and
They do cross paths. That's why I'm getting tired of him, because it's like, I know that you're allegedly new to this whole love game, but you've clearly dated, sir. And you know how the dating game works. There's something about sex appeal. You have to be attracted to something, to someone for that matter. But either way, at some point he does, I think it was the dolphin dive, and he ends up hurting his hand, allegedly ends up hurting his hand, right?
Oh,
Fake.
you don't believe that he strained his right thumb dolphin diving?
That's very specific. So we see him later with it being, I hurt my hand. I hurt my hand. It's like, come on, dude. We don't need to see your hand. Like, we're not interested in your hand in this competition. Let's be real.
I mean, honestly, if I don't know if Jen was privy to any of what was going on with the thumb, but at that point, I would have been like, I'm sending this guy home today.
After we see the Love Virgin and hear his once again saying he can't do something, from that point on, the guys get to now choose their costumes. And we see them sprinting up steps and like quickly grabbing, like, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a construction worker. People are like running for things.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Sam, the other Sam, goes for a chef costume, I guess. I don't know. It's a lot of weird costumes that are going on there.
Yeah, he goes with a chef and calls himself Chef Fluster.
Chef Fluster.
Which is a callback to week 2 when Jen told Sam that he flusters her because of the intense sexual attraction. And what's interesting is later on when they talk about it, like on the couch, and he says, oh, I was, Chef Fluster because of what you said. She's like, well, I said that, I get flustered. You don't get flustered. So it was funny because she was kind of like poking a hole in the reasoning behind him calling himself Chef Fluster.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I thought that was funny. He becomes the chef. Devin apparently picks a detective kind of look.
Yeah. I'm scared. Yeah. Like, I'm so scared. This is absolutely my worst nightmare.
That was interesting. Yeah, that was very interesting.
And Jonathan picks a firefighter.
Jen's gonna look for commitment to the performance. I mean, best case scenario in general is that she loves it. I'm willing to just put myself out there and have fun. So hopefully she likes it.
Oh, yeah, boy. Oh, yeah.
And Devin and Jonathan get to talking, which is interesting. Jonathan had revealed he was an overweight child, and Devin reveals to Jonathan, I used to be a fat kid. And he goes, I don't have the abs and the biceps, but, I'm going to do this for Jen. So like this was about Devin facing his fears, his body image concerns.
I don't have big biceps. Like, I have a hairy chest. I definitely don't have the body for this. And the fact that there's going to be a full crowd apparently is definitely going to be the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done. But, I'm doing what I need to do for Jen.
Let's get to it. The show is about to begin. We meet 2 bachelorettes, I guess, from the Australian Bachelorette.
Did you know they had Australian Bachelorette?
No idea. They join Jen in a chair to watch. The show begins, and I think it starts with Dylan.
It does. First of all, Jesse looking on point with his bespoke suits. He looked better rested for sure.
Yes, he did.
Jesse introduces Dylan, and I keep repeating this in my head because I thought it was so like awkward but funny. Where Jesse says, come out, Dylan, because Dylan's dressed as a business person. So he says, Dylan, CE make you O.
Please welcome to the stage, Dylan. He is a CE make you O. Make you O.
And I was like, I get why that's supposed to be clever, but it was awkward. But Jesse sold it. No matter what lines they give that man, he sells it.
He sold it. Dylan goes out to do his thing, and I thought they were all cute. We get to see everyone. We see Dylan in his business suit. We see Marcus in an astronaut. And what was interesting, I think Jenn noted this too, is that he starts like grinding on the floor.
Yeah.
And Jenn was like, I had no idea Marcus had it in him. And I think for a second, she was like slowly like, all right, he might not be as like sweet as she thought.
She looked at Marcus with new eyes. Listen, he looked like he had experience.
He's had experience with that helmet before, and it was working for him. We went on, we saw Thomas A do something as well, or
snake
Tomas.
whisperer. Yes.
He was a snake whisperer, but I was like, I didn't get the outfit. Grant came out, I think as well. We just saw a couple of different clips. I think one of my favorite was Jonathan, who came out. And he did a nice little dance. And what I liked is that when he took off his clothing, is he had Jen's name on his butt. And I thought that was super cute.
Yes. Jonathan, first of all, is a fantastic performer.
Yes.
I know he's a creative director in his real life. I don't know what that exactly means, but you could tell he's very creative. He commits to a performance.
Yes.
He's dedicated. I thought he did fantastic. Like, I thought he was phenomenal. He's very sexual. I thought for sure you were going to mention Thomas N as the sexy nerd.
I didn't really feel the nerd costume, but I think he was good. It's so weird because they just keep showing their package, and so it makes me slightly uncomfortable. But
really?
I thought he was good. Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was good. Seeing the whole like Magic Mike thing doesn't always do it for me. When he was sitting outside, like just chatting with his shirt off and showing his tattoo, that did it for me. But then at some point we see Matt come out.
Huh?
Okay, now who's Matt? No, Matt, there's a Sam M. And honestly, I thought Sam M's performance was lackluster.
It was lackluster, but Jenn didn't think so. Right when Sam came out, she was like, oh, you could tell. Like she had to restrain herself. He goes up to her, gets very close. He had the little I guess it was a wooden spoon, I want to say. I don't know.
He had a kitchen implement. I don't know which one it was.
It was something hard. But and she was flustered by it, because when he left, she was like, did you guys feel the sexual tension?
Sam and I have a very palpable sexual tension.
And the other women, which I like, they said, yes, we did, but you've got to be careful for those type of guys. Right away, they said, you've got to watch out for him. And I'm thinking, yes, somebody needs to tell that to her, because that's very dangerous right there.
Yeah, I was glad that the Australian bachelorettes were there for Jenn, because I feel like they were the voice of reason.
Yes.
And yet Jenn, I mean, listen, I get it. You know, Sam M is attractive. He's not my type. He is attractive. He does rely on his raw sexuality. It's so completely a lust, falling in lust situation.
It's a lust, yeah.
You know, and so he does this like, I don't know, you know what creeps me out? When he gets close to her, he's always whispering things in her ear. And it just seems almost
I don't think
like
you like that. Do you not like that? I don't like it when people whisper in my ear. It's like, I'm not an ear person.
No, I don't, because it's like you could hear like the spit in their mouth. Like, I don't know, like, I just feel like it's creepy. It's like, I'm going to tell you a creepy secret. And he leans in and he says, not PG tonight. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean?
It was a throwback. It was a throwback. A previous episode, they had a hot and heavy makeout session, and he said, we have to keep it PG. So it was a throwback. He likes to do lots of throwbacks.
Right.
Good for him and his memory. He's doing throwbacks. That's what it is.
Well, good for him.
You just dislike him. After that, at some point, Devin comes out in his little detective outfit. And I thought he did really well. He went for it. He was just being kind of silly. He had on like a Speedo. He showed his little bottom to her.
Wasn't it a thong? Was it a thong?
Maybe it was a thong. Maybe it was a thong because he showed his butt. Yeah, but it was he gave it his all. I liked it. It was good.
He went balls to the wall. He understood the assignment. Because according to Jenn, although we also know she wants to check out their bodies, but Jenn says this is all about seeing who could come out of their comfort zone and who can face their fears, and show up for her. She's very, concerned about people showing up for her. So he showed up for her. And what was interesting is one of the Australian bachelorettes, too bad neither one of us wrote down either of their names. One of them says that Devin has big dick energy.
Okay. Well, you know what? I don't like him, but I think he did a good job doing the assignment.
He did.
Unlike the Love Virgin, who felt the need. He's a waste of my time, guys. Can we just get to other things? He comes out, he makes this announcement. I think I'm falling in love with you. Doesn't take his clothes off, which was what the task was. The rest of the guys gave the reaction that I gave, which is like, this is kind of ridiculous, and I don't know if I believe you.
Jenn.
Oh, hi.
I know you want us to bear it all, but I'm here to bear my soul. From the moment I first saw you, I knew you were different. You make me feel confident. You make me feel secure. I see myself getting on one knee for you. Jenn, I'm already falling in love with you.
Yo. Oh, that's awkward.
I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it.
You know what? I'm glad he decided just to use that time to profess his love rather than him awkwardly do a striptease. I was so cringing so hard thinking about him like just stumbling through a striptease. So I was actually so relieved that he kept his robe on and decided just to talk his way out of doing the dance.
Yes.
So I think he made the right decision. But of course, the rest of the episode, as we'll discuss, he backpedals and tries to not, he makes things awkward by continuing to try to explain himself.
And when everyone was done doing their performances or speaking about the fact that they won't do a performance, Jonathan was crowned the winner. And I think he deserved it. He was great.
Jonathan absolutely deserved it.
From there, we move on to, I guess, the bar night, the refreshment night. I forgot what it's called. And we kind of see the round of suitors going through, talking to Jenn. Jonathan was the first one. And right away, he's like, I don't want to get interrupted, so let's just start. He started with a kiss. I was like, all right, cool, and she's for it. And then next up, I think we have Devin, and that's where Devin shares his heartbreak, his story, his coming of age story.
Yeah, he mentioned about that he was overweight and how dancing for her was a really big deal for him. He said that there's only one person he would have done this for, faced his fears for, and it's her. So, and then they share a kiss. Now, Jenn just loves sharing of the vulnerabilities, as do all the bachelorettes on these shows, which I applaud. Like they reached a new level of connection and understanding. I have to be honest, though, when they kiss, I don't feel the chemistry.
No, it's like a friendship. I don't feel it. Sometimes when you watch people kiss, you watch it, and sometimes when you watch people kiss, you turn away. And for him, I turn away because I'm like, I don't want to see this. This doesn't feel right, and I didn't think I needed to see it. But while this was happening, the Love Virgin goes around and kind of starts apologizing. He's like, I'm sorry for what I said. I didn't quite mean it that way. So it's like he's a phony, guys. You got to just get rid of him.
I don't think it's so much as that he's phony or being purposely duplicitous. I think that he just doesn't know what he's doing.
He's on the wrong freaking show. Go to TLC. TLC will accept you. But during all this time, we see a lot more of Sam and Thomas Wynn chatting, kind of like, I don't know, talking crap about the Love Virgin and etc. And Devin overhears this, and Devin starts getting upset because apparently Devin and the Love Virgin are like close buds.
Yeah, well, he's like, I view him like my little brother. I'll always be there to support him. You're going to say you had a problem with that because Devin And Devin doesn't go in screaming at Sam and Thomas, in defense of the love virgin. He bides his time and then he makes his point. I thought he did it really well. I mean, my heart was actually breaking for Sam N because he looked so embarrassed. He kept saying, I know I sound pathetic. I don't want to sound pathetic. I'm trying to explain, what I really meant is that like, I feel like I was like maybe kind of falling in love, not that I was in love. And then Devin says like, you don't have to explain.
You have no reason to feel sorry for what you do and who you are, and you deserve to feel how you feel. And anybody that decides that that's not right has their own issues. Okay? When Sam was talking, Sam M and Thomas N, these dudes are laughing and looking down, looking anywhere but him in the face. And they want to talk about this whole mutual respect thing or this, I'm such a stand-up guy. It blows my mind. These guys really need to get a reality check.
I was fine with that. I was fine with that until I think the other Sam came in and was saying something, and Devin, I think he said, I wrote it down, like, I clap and smile for you, even if I don't want to clap and smile for you. And I was like, Devin, I don't have time for your BS.
He was just
Why are you
explaining
saying
about,
this?
see, you're taking it out of context because
We have different points of view
he
on
made
Devin
that comment
and Sam.
to illustrate that he still has respect for everyone and point out that everyone should respect Sam N getting up there, declaring his love. And he was trying to, say, hey, Thomas, Sam M, you're not showing respect to all the suitors. And
Thomas N and Sam weren't saying it to the love virgin's face. They were talking behind his back. They didn't go up to him that we saw and say like, oh, you're terrible.
But they weren't going out of their way to hide from the others that they were saying.
We don't know what the camera was doing. The point is they were not actively bullying the love virgin. They were having a conversation between themselves, friends.
Yeah.
Be like if you and I were on the show, be doing the same thing. Like, can you believe this girl just said, you and I would be in the corner talking about people. Like, she's ridiculous. And then we would be doing that privately. Somebody would overhear and they'd bring it up. And that's what Devin did. Fine. Well, either way, Sam was like, just don't talk to me. What I liked about Sam actually in this episode or at this moment, Sam was just like drunk. Sam
did you think he was drunk? I didn't even get that.
Yes, he was totally wasted. So much so that when he went in to see Jenn, I don't know what was happening. He was like slobbering all over her. He immediately started kissing her and she's like, ask me to be your girlfriend. He's like, how would I ask to be my girlfriend? Like, he was like, he was out of control.
And she kept saying, stop, no. And I felt that the fact that he was not immediately getting off of her lap and heeding her request, I felt was very ungentlemanly.
I took it as her saying, I took it differently because I thought he was saying, do you want me to say you're my girlfriend like this? And she said no. So then he switched to another position like this and she said no. I do think he was too drunk. I do think he was drunk and was probably like overstepping some, but I didn't take it as her saying like, don't kiss me. Yeah. I think it was saying her probably being like, I don't want you to ask me to be my girlfriend like this. Either way.
They do make out anyway.
They do make out. Jenn ends up giving Devin the rose, I believe, that night.
She did, yeah.
And what I love about that moment is that Devin says something along the lines of like, I guess she picked the type of guy she wants. And Sam just starts cracking up, laughing. Because I'm like, this man is so drunk. He's just cracking up laughing.
You see, now,
I thought it was funny.
So you're putting things into a different perspective for me because I kept thinking, wow, what a D-bag, because Sam M wasn't taking anything seriously. He kept laughing. He was saying things that to me didn't make sense.
Because he was drunk.
So here's the thing. I didn't realize he was drunk. So that then is on the producers, because that means the producers, as we know, the producers like to have alcohol around. But apparently there was a lot of encouraging, like they might have really been encouraging him to drink a lot to cause some kind of conflict. So
I think so.
But still, like, it's so difficult because things are cut a certain way.
I agree.
But Sam and Thomas keep saying Devin is a bully, Devin is a bully. And what we're seeing on the screen, to me is not pointing in that direction. So I don't know if there are things happening that we're not seeing.
I think we have different points of view because I see Devin as an instigator and you don't. I see how he's trying to be snarky and he's trying to start things. I see it differently because I know people like that. But moving on from that night, we randomly go to Aaron, who's just like, I'm going to just be sitting here wearing my pearl necklace. He gets a phone call, which is like, this is staged because you can't have phones on The Bachelor. He gets a phone call.
Oh, that's right.
Allegedly, it's his supervisor telling him there's an open slot for the Air Force for an air pilot.
So he's in the Air Force, but like a fighter pilot.
That's it, a fighter pilot. Yeah, exactly. He gets a call. He has 24 hours to make this freaking decision. How convenient. The same day he has a group date. The same day. Group date. Great group date of people. It's him, Hakeem, Austin, and Jeremy for this group date, and they go race car driving.
The challenge is once around the track, whoever goes fastest. I thought they said got a special date with Jenn.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Okay. Because we could talk about it in a little bit, but the winner did not get a date with Jenn, from what I could tell.
No, I don't think so. I think we kind of missed it, but I thought that's what was going to happen. Either way, we see these guys trying. Once again, Hakeem.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Driving with Jenn was crazy.
I really enjoy Hakeem and his looks, his big expressions of like, and good for Jenn for being in a car with him because that seemed very dangerous. I was very concerned for her safety when he was driving the car. That was scary.
She had a lot of patience with each
She did. Aaron apparently knows how to drive stick. He was doing a fantastic job. And I think that was the first time that Jenn actually showed real interest toward him. She's like, oh, he can drive a stick shift and likes danger.
I think she even said hot guys drive stick shifts.
Sticks, yeah. So we saw him, and then we saw at some point they do a race, and we see each person go. Hakeem is very slow in first gear the whole time, as they note. Then we see Austin go. He does a pretty good job. And then finally she gets in the car with Jeremy, who's doing very well, and he stops. And I like this. He stopped to give her a kiss. I thought that was sweet.
Yeah, I actually thought that was a slick move. I thought it was a good move. Interestingly enough, I felt like there was a spark of chemistry between them as they were kissing.
I agree.
Which I was like, wow, like it seemed like they were both going deep.
Yeah, I feel like I actually felt a connection there, but either way, Austin ends up winning, which is convenient since Aaron was the only person who knew how to drive stick. So I thought that was suspicious. So Aaron's like, I don't get an extra date with her. That sucks. I'm like,
Yeah, I thought that was strange too, that Aaron, who was so proficient in driving a stick, came in second.
That's why I'm like, this is producer based. I think
it is, yeah.
I do think Jenn had some time alone with Austin because that's when she found out that Austin had been cheated on.
But it was a very brief clip. Was that supposed to be their date where they just talked to each other? Like, oh wait, no, that was at the after party. At the group after party is when they sat down together. And I said to myself, well, this doesn't constitute a special date because all of them had time with her.
They all had time with her. That's very strange. I don't really. Yeah, that's weird.
It is.
Sorry, Austin. You should have just stopped the car and kissed her like Jeremy, and that would have been a better solution for you. So after that group date, we get to the final cocktail party. And for some reason, Aaron decides to take that time to take Jenn aside. He tells her that he's leaving because he has this great opportunity out of the blue. He got this phone call on a phone that he shouldn't have, and he needs to leave. And in that moment, he warns her that there's some people there that aren't ready. And Jenn's like, well, who is it? And he's like, I can't tell you, but there are people there that you should look out for. And I thought, this guy, you can't tell somebody like, hey, somebody's trying to murder you and not tell you who the murderer is. It wasn't cool. It wasn't cool.
This was proof, as I said in week 2, maybe week 1, that he was just a plant.
He's a plant.
They knew, listen, the government isn't that spontaneous that they're like, oh yeah, we want you to come in for pilot training. Everyone knew. Everyone knew this
Yes.
was a strong possibility. They
Yes.
put him on just to stir the pot, as I've mentioned.
Yeah.
He drops a bomb and then he's like, peace. And then he just
Peace
leaves.
out. Jen is pissed about this. She storms into the room and says, Aaron just told me that somebody isn't here for the right reasons. And if you're not here for love, get out.
Yeah.
And she
All right, well,
storms off.
She didn't really do it in such dramatic fashion.
She wasn't that dramatic, but
Yeah.
I need you to sit here and really think about it. Because this is my life. I've made the wrong decisions in the past, and I'm not going to do that anymore. So, if you think that this is not the place that you should be, then you need to get out. Got it?
You made it sound like she was just a lunatic tearing through the house. She even said, that's cruel to just drop this bomb and not tell me anything.
Yes, I agree.
And I thought it was really messed up that he said, it's on you to figure it out. It's on you, as if like you're in this mess, you figure it out. Like, I thought that was pretty awful. Who do you think he's referring to?
I don't know. I assumed it's probably the love virgin. That's kind of the main person. I don't know about Devin or not, to be perfectly honest.
Do you think that the love virgin of all people is not there for the right reasons?
I think he's on the show to get famous or whatever. That's my personal opinion. There's certain people who just aren't there to actually find a relationship. And it's true. That's how it always is. He said a fact that's true on all versions of the show.
Yeah.
But I thought that's interesting is the guys took it to heart. They took it very seriously. They're just like, well, who do you think he was talking about? Sam goes in and he says, Aaron is my boy.
Yeah, he was more upset about Aaron leaving than I thought. That's what made me think Aaron was referring to Sam M. I think Aaron might have been referring to him as being not ready and not there for the right reasons.
I don't know, but he's like, Aaron's my boy. But that was the very first time that I saw them chat. And he for some reason said something that made Jen feel good. She's like, I've been thinking about you all week. There's something between us. I just wanted you to say something. I don't know. I needed somebody to console me.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I saw them interact without kissing. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it was. I believe he was reaffirming that I'm here for you. This is all about you. But yet when he's not with her, he's doing a lot of pot stirring. So now Aaron has passed the spoon to the pot to Chef Fluster, aka Sam M. And now Sam M is going to continue to stir that pot.
He has the pot, he has his wooden spoon, he's going to make it work. We cut back to the men, and once again, they're going at it.
Yeah.
They're yelling and etc. to the point where Spencer's like, chill out. Everybody needs to chill out.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was like, what is going on?
I wrote down in caps in my notes, Spencer was the voice of common sense.
Yes.
So right then in that moment, I was like, wow, he just elevated even more on my list.
I know.
What is the purpose of all of this? It's stupid. Shut the up, everyone. What is the point right now? No one even knows. So everyone just shh. What happened. Aaron's gone. We can't even talk to him about it. Let's simmer.
In that moment, Jesse comes in and says, all right, guys, it's time for the rose ceremony. He leaves. And the love virgin is just like, it's fine. It's fine. We still have the whole night ahead of us. It's just like, did you not just hear it, Jesse?
The night is still young, right?
No, it's not. It's over.
Yeah, what's up?
The night's over. Jesse just said it. He was standing right there. So the night's not young. So let's not try to dance around things. Austin didn't get any time. We've had a ton of arguments.
Well, that's not okay. I'll say this.
He needs to be set free. They need to set him free. They need to let him go. What was he looking for to happen? Like, what did he want to happen?
To be fair, he probably meant like it's still early in the game as opposed to the night.
Honestly, that's what I thought he meant. Is that it's still early on in this season.
That's what he meant, but he didn't say it. That's why I was like, it was just so funny. Either way, the rose ceremony begins. And to me, once again, it's not that dramatic.
And just to recap, Jen has already given the roses to Spencer, Devin, and Jeremy, so they continue on to week 4. And Jen then gives roses to Dylan, John, Jonathan, Sam M, Sam N, Grant, Marcus, Thomas N, and Austin. And then we say goodbye to Tomas or Thomas A, Hakeem, and then Aaron left of his own volition.
There you go. That's the show. That's the episode.
Just one thing towards the end, there is an aggressive statement made by Sam M. I feel compelled to share because earlier when you said that your interpretation of him saying he's got smooth fists wasn't about fighting, it was something else. Well, here's what he said. He said, in the real world, I would snap Devin in half. How can that be misinterpreted as nothing other than a violent threat?
I did not take it as him saying if I were to see you in the real world, I would beat him up. I think he's saying in the real world, it wouldn't even be a thing between him because he would know not to mess with me. That's why I took it. I didn't take it as I'm going to beat him up. He was saying in the real world, which I'd agree, we wouldn't even be in the same realm, which I also agree with. That's my perspective.
It could be an interpretation. I don't know if we'll ever know. I don't know if we'll ever know the truth. So there is a clip about week 4. A mysterious person from Jenn's past.
Yeah, I'm curious about that one.
Makes an appearance in Australia. Do we want to guess who it might be?
I have zero guess at all because it's from her past, and I have no idea who'd be an ex-boyfriend, probably.
I mean, it can't be, I think we've mentioned before, it can't be Joey, the Bachelor, the season she was on. Do you think it is her dad?
Oh my God, no, I hope they wouldn't do that. That'd be awful. I think it's an ex. I think it's an ex.
She's mentioned toxic exes, so I assume there's more than one, but there's never been a mention of one singular person. So I feel like we have no context for any of this. So why would they do that to her and to the audience?
I don't know, but I'm curious to see who it might be.
Okay, but it does appear to be a male.
Yes,
so
it's a male, definitely.
It does appear to, okay. That's all we got for you. Tune into Romance Recap next week. And remember, if it ain't ferocious, then it ain't true love.